The United Football League has officially announced its corporate partnerships for the 2025 season as we head into week 5. Now, of course, normally these are announced prior to the season in previous spring football seasons, but this one has been announced today, and I want to go ahead and go over that because I think the big part to all this is the factor that we are seeing a lot more partner sponsorships, a lot more name brand partner sponsorships in this, and in particular, it kind of could give us a view of the future of the UFL and what they are able to do with corporate sponsorships. So let's go to the announcement from the UFL.com, Arlington, Texas, April 23rd, 2025. The United Football League today announced its roster of corporate partners for the 2025 season. The Spring Football League, which kicked off its second season last month, will hold its 2025 championship game presented by Underdog on Saturday, June 14th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, airing on ABC. The UFL is privileged to have the continued support of a great array of partners as well as the addition of 6 new partners in 2025, said Josh Silla, Executive Vice President of Commercial Sales and Operations for the UFL. We want to bring innovative thinking to our corporate partnerships with the support of our world-class ownership team. The UFL is trying to push the envelope by delivering value through marketing, media, integrations, and digital content and fan engagement. The UFL 2025 corporate partnership lineup features, and these are broken down by category, New Era and New Era Cap, the official sideline cap and on-field headwear provider, Progressive Insurance, the official auto insurance partner of the league. Now, of course, Progressive Insurance has gone back to the 2020 XFL season and has continued to support spring football on the XFL side and now, of course, the UFL side through every single season. And as we know, in most seasons, the Progressive logo is featured on the field each Sunday, or I guess you could say every game day. And that essentially, that corporate partnership continues to stay with the UFL. Under Armour, as we all know, the official uniform and sideline apparel partner. Ortho, official lawn, garden, and pest control partner. We have seen Ortho on some of the sides of the jerseys, on the sleeves or whatnot, as a partnership. It's not like too much is standing out or obvious, but it is there. And then, of course, we have the Underdog partner, the official daily fantasy of the league. And I've heard that I think it's only 6 or 7, or maybe it's 5 or 6 of the teams actually have Underdog as a partner for official daily fantasy due to state regulations with gambling in certain states. So that's an interesting one. Then we have CBD Kratom, official CBD and Kratom partner of the UFL and St. Louis Battlehawks. It is interesting because they were mainly partnership with the Arlington Renegades last year. So it's interesting to see that they are part of St. Louis Battlehawks this year. I know Dallas is one of Kratom's areas that they have, I think, a corporate building in or something, but very interesting to say the least. Then you have FedEx, the official shipping partner of the UFL and the Memphis Showboats. Now, I've talked about this in prior videos of talking about keeping the Memphis Showboats organization is because the owner of FedEx supports the Memphis Showboats and is an official partner of the UFL and the Memphis Showboats. So they're getting more money for the Memphis Showboats with this partnership with FedEx. And I mean, if you go back to the USFL in 2023, there's a reason why they put the Tampa Bay Bandits on hold as an organization, and then brought in the Memphis Showboats back to the USFL is because of the fact of the owner of FedEx. This continues to be a partnership, and I would assume that this is one reason why the Memphis Showboats would stay. There's been numerous talk in prior situations back in the USFL that the owner was looking to purchase the Memphis Showboats at one point. I still think that that should be the route they go. because then he can put in the money needed to sponsor, advertise, and all that type of stuff around the state of Tennessee, and get people in the seats more than what the UFL is currently doing with marketing. So I'd keep an eye on that partnership. Then, of course, we have Gatorade, the official sideline hydration partner of the league. This is kind of a give. Obviously, it was interesting. I think it was last year, or it was the XFL in 2023 that had Pedialyte as their official sideline hydration partner. And man, I remember hearing how many players, it was 2023. I remember how many players were saying how absolute horrible the taste of Pedialyte was compared to Gatorade when they were on the sidelines. But it keeps you hydrated. Then, of course, we have Salesforce, the official CRM and AI agent. Pizza Hut, the official pizza and wings partner, which is interesting that Pizza Hut jumped on the board of the UFL because they did recently I think about 2 seasons ago, lost the corporate sponsorship of the NFL, which went to Little Caesars. So Pizza Hut getting back in the game with football. Very interesting. Then we have Terramana Tequila, the official tequila partner. Obviously, this is a brand of Danny Garcia and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Then we have, which is actually, I'll make a point here, is the only corporate sponsor of a product that Dwayne and Danny co-own as well. We'll get into Zoa in a second. Henry Sheen Medical, which is the official medical products supplier partner of the league. All My Sons, official moving and storage partner. Zoa Energy, official energy drink, which, let me be clear, has been bought back in November by more, I believe it's Coors brand, Coors or whatever it is called. They bought Zoa Energy from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and all that. So they no longer are that's probably why you see very minimal promotions of the UFL with Zoa Energy, because it is no longer Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Danny Garcia co-owning Zoa Energy. It is now actually a beer company that owns it, that was trying to do more non-alcoholic drinks. So very interesting there. I learned of that recently. I did not know this until very recently that Zoa was bought out. So very interesting on that part. And then, of course, last but not least is Allegiant Air, the official team airline. And we've seen numerous pictures from the UFL where teams are getting off flights that they've flown on, and it is always Allegiant Air. I have seen in if you travel Allegiant Air, they are a little bit cheaper on airline flights and stuff like that. So this is a great partnership for the league because depending on how the corporate sponsor of this partnership is, they may not be paying much at all for travel, which could be great for the league. But again, if that's the case, then they should have their teams in their home cities. And that's it for essentially the corporate sponsors that they have listed here. Now I know behind the scenes, because I remember hearing about this in 2022 into 2023 for the XFL, that with these corporate sponsorships and stuff like that, there is a lot of brands and stuff like that actually get sponsored by the league or do it behind the scenes, whether it's like a hotel chain or things like that for players being housed throughout game time and things like that. There's a lot of corporate sponsors that don't parade or want their name out there, not necessarily in a bad way, but they're a corporate partner. They're providing money and stuff like that to the league to fund it. And not always is their name put onto these corporate press releases or anything like that. So I am curious how many more there are, but it is good to hear overall when the league is talking about adding additional partners for this year, because 6 new partners added on to the current ones they already had. Obviously, we have not heard anything about U.S. Army. I know that had been talked about, that they settled that deal, the contract was done or whatnot, which thankfully we don't have to hear about that every halftime. That was just my opinion. I thought that was it's great to hear soldiers' stories, but there's so much more they could be doing with halftime. I still think that to this day, even though we saw the beer snake promo on ESPN like 3 weeks, almost 3 weeks in a row during halftime during the DC Defenders game. So I think there's a lot more that can be done here, but I think this is a great step for the UFL with their corporate partnerships, because the more they can get partnerships into this for advertising, the more money they are making per broadcast and things like that. So awesome job, UFL. We'll see you on the flip side. Have a great one, everyone.